Alrighty. Looks like we're going. Alrighty. Looks like we're going. Alrighty. Wow, we got some good stream lag. As in low latency. We're doing good this time. I hear myself right away. What's up, Mason? Just gonna send you a morning message actually about blue sky. Good morning. Doing okay? It's happy Saturday. Got more than 6 hours of sleep. That's cool. What's up, Looks Within? Mr. Ronaldo. Good morning, Terry. What's going on, guys? All the goods. How to get my pre-gym fuel here. Some strawberries and blueberries. Volume is really low again. Okay, let's check her out. Since I didn't change much here, could be because this thing is so far away. I do look away from the mic when I'm talking right here, as I was eating some strawberries, trying not to munch on everybody. So let me know if this this works. I'll turn it up a little bit here. Test. Decibel is a little high right there. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it looks like we're all the way up in the high green now, so should be okay with, I think it's just mic positioning and a tiny little setting there. Good morning, friends. I don't know how to do this stuff. Moderation, activity, timestamps, pop out chat. Me and my 10 friends. I don't know how this works. Goal? I don't have a goal. I don't need that. Good morning, everybody. Good here? Can't hear. Hard to hear. Uh-oh. Some say good, some say hard to hear. Let's see here. I'm going to make sure. That's just noise suppression is on. That's the only filter. Yeah, I have it maxed out here. Let's open the Wavelink software and see if that messed up. That's what happened last time. Wavelink just likes to change from live to YouTube, completely different. Real fast before we start here, make sure. Microphone maxed out. Inputs. I don't see. No, that's maxed out too. Good afternoon. Got worse. Didn't even change anything yet. Oh no. No additional outputs. This is max. This is on. It's on XLR right here. Properties? Nope. Bounce, millisecond, time. This is maxed out. I wonder why. Sound is good now. It's echoing. Oh, how about that? I forgot about that. The YouTube, I was playing my own videos in the background so YouTube could pick it up. So, yeah, that was probably back. That was probably screwing you guys up there. Better. Yeah, you guys were probably getting the feedback from the desktop audio, not the mic. That might be it. Good, that's better. Now it's okay. Holy moly, we're back. Appreciate it. Thank you, stream. All right, cool. So today we're going to be headed into, not that, what's going to happen, what happened, why, and what we're going to do next. So we're going to do some lessons here, more in fibs. I think we're going to be changing the style of our live trading here too. I had some thoughts and some some good meditations here this last day. And I think an easier to follow system is what we're going to be implementing here as we move forward, where as we call a lot of stuff on stream, we have a lot of indicators. It's a lot of overwhelming stuff. There's lots of new members joining us daily here. So I think what we're going to do is going to be a cool little, it's not really a challenge, but it won't be a challenge. It'll be easy. But what we're going to do is we're going to utilize only tags, right? It's like OnlyFans, but good. We're only be only tags, okay? So when we're drawing these Fibonacci points on day to day here, where we utilize like a Thursday high low, like we always like to, and then we go to the intraday chart and we say, okay, we know that no matter where price action is, the golden pocket is our first line of interest, okay? So if we did a high low on yesterday, Thursday, cough, cough, candle, right? And we had the Friday action here, we know that this golden pocket right here is going to be the highest point of interest. So when it opened up above the 100, we had a statistical chance to move to the GP. That was scalp 1, right? So I think what we're going to do, no, I not think, I know is what we're going to do here is we're going to implement a tag only system for trading. Okay. So we do a lot of moving average shy, and I'm narrating, but for the new members, they're like, what the heck is going on? The old members are like, all right, we're tuned in, because it took them 3 months to, catch on some of our systems. So what we're going to do is we're going to be live trading like always, but we're going to put on like a Topstep account or 2 or 3 or whatever on only tags. We're only going to play one system and one system only. It's going to be Fibs VWAP, and I'm not going to do anything else. I'm literally going to, it's going to be high-low from either pre or daily or a really good doji, and we're going to play one play on that account and that account only. And it's I'm going to use one of those, one of the Express accounts that we have, and it's literally just going to be one trade. So one trade style. We might get more trades obviously through the day, but all we're going to do is utilize longer-term fibs. A VWAP maybe 100. It's going to be 3 indicators max, and we're going to take every single trade that's first tag, first shy. Okay, and that's it. It's going to be a 3-part system. So I wrote a bunch of it down, and I think we're just going to implement that for the live stream. It's going to really help a lot of the new members and really dial in the old ones, because you guys know most of the systems here, and we're still going to teach most of the systems. We're still going to implement them, but the ease of use is what we're going to be changing here going forward for myself. So I think it's going to be a lot easier to pick up the main systems. People that don't want to trade moving average on top of MAC, on top of RSI, on top of high-low, on top of shy, on top of, you get the point, right? So let's, with that little announcement, let's get into what we've seen in the market. Okay, so we have been very adamant on the downside. We'll start at the weekly, like always. So you want to build these trade plans from the longest standing time frame, day in, day out. And excuse me, as we covered in the last video, you want to find a candle that is very, very unique. And the last live, we went over a very good stream about how to pick these candles. And it doesn't matter what time frame you're on. These candles exist purely off of algorithmic quality of what indicator they tag. So picking the candle must be hitting a certain moving average, a certain length of VWAP, a certain size. So we went over a whole bunch of that in the last video, and we're going to continue on some of that, but we're going to put in a bunch of predictions and what we've seen this week and what we could have did more of, less of, and how we're going to move forward doing most. Now, I like to check oscillation. We start the weekly. This is fresh. Okay, so this is how we did the last couple weeks of trading here. And we have tons of videos. We do a recap every day on what we did for the last 3 weeks straight. Now, we start at oscillation indicators weekly. So we have an all-time high from obviously 2 weeks back, 3 closed weeks red now, and a fresh low break in sequence. Now, a lot of my chat already knows what's going on here, but for anybody just tuning in, just stick with us here. So as we put in that lower high RSI, MACD swapping back from obviously January, February sentiment is generally iffy coming into February. So January kind of gives it that iffy feel to start the year. February is usually down. March can be a little weak. And then generally end of Q1 into middle Q2, we start to come back up. Now, how do we, and again, we have sentiment videos on everything I'm talking about right here too, so please check those lives. How do we set up for these trades, and how did we set up these last couple weeks? Because I really want to dial into this system, and we're going to be very picky with what candles we use, and we're going to slow down the systems and increase your guys' probability and learning speed, okay? So the all-time high candles where we start on the weekly, I always like to tag in teal for my color here on the weekly. That's just how it was, right? So with a single indicator, we're going to develop just fibs right now, okay? we're going to move from the weekly to the daily because we don't really have anything else to do at all-time highs. Let's say we were setting up a trade down here. We would be utilizing a lot of these candles that are going to be in line and explaining a whole bunch of that. But when we're coming off all-time highs, that's the only candle that's going to matter. So the algorithmic quality and what they're going to be paying attention to in the computers is the all-time high. It's the highest point of interest we've ever seen, period, right? All-time high. So from that weekly, we're going to move down, okay? And to the daily chart. So weekly start, daily run, okay? So now we have a Fibonacci weekly and gives us a lot of cool interaction points here. And we're going to go move into the daily. So the breakdown of the daily chart from all-time high to the 200 was pretty much a straight line. And we covered this a bunch of times in the last couple of videos, and confirmation is something we're looking for, okay? So I'm not going to spend too much time on what we already covered because we did it every single day for the last 3 weeks. And as we come into our point of interest of reversal, we have some very specific things to look for here, okay? So you heard my spiel last couple of days, moving averages, other YouTubers and people are saying, you know, we're getting these bounces and we finally hit the 200. Let's get ready, blah, blah, blah. That was like the last 4 days. I don't know what they were looking at. We're nowhere near the SMA EMAs, especially on a platform that actually works for moving averages. So we used that 200 SMA Thursday and targeted the 200 EMA Friday on the daily chart. These are just coded on the intraday, same exact level. So that's how we got that bounce point. We even had a little prediction video saying it'll probably capitulate through the 200, then come rallying back up because, well, the market loves to trap, right? So what better to trap a short than to show them a breakout of 200s and go down, and they just see this nasty thing in the retail traders. You know, they get short, they blast out here, they get back in short, they hugely blast out. It's very, very common for the market to do that, right? So what we look for now for the continuation from the weekly and dailies. Now, since we have a weekly that is a no tag GP, okay? And what that means, if you're new, we utilize a system of golden pockets, okay? So when you fib something high to low, we utilize the intraday levels and the intraday levels only. I don't care about any other fibs except for 38.20 to 61.8, okay? That's what we call the pocket that has the strongest conviction. I don't want to use a 70-something or a 60-something where you're, I think it's a 023, something like that, way out here to where it's like kind of common. You can use those for a little extra directional help, sure, to, you know, a break level to come to. So if you were to use a standard Fibonacci sequence here where you did use that 23 and you were like, okay, I really want to see price action break through the 23 just to get to the magnet. You could use that a little bit. We have a really good conviction rate of having under the high to the GP or obviously above the low to the GP, whatever way price action's going. So it's really not needed. The best pockets will still maintain the ones that you'll always see on our screen right here as far as probability and giving you a little bit more range to run with that idea, okay? So the all-time high weekly is a candle subject to a no GP tag. So the week of 217 here, notice that we have 38.20 and 61.8 and 50 all auto charted. Again, we have these indicators here. Shout out to Brandon from our community for building this one. It puts the levels on the outside of the GP and the golden pocket itself centered at 50. So you see that level right there, 50, and then of course outer over. Any of my members that want this, please hit us up. We release them. We'll post them again in Discord if you want. Tag me, and we'll put them in the pin today to make them easier to find. So as we go down to the daily chart here, we're going to utilize the weekly levels that we see in all week, and we were straight down. But well, what does that mean? Well, we have recovery levels and fib levels on the way down. So the fib was pointed from here to the way down. So the first tag of the 1618, and you hear me say that a lot. First tag, first shy, first tag, first shy, right? And a lot of the indicators with moving averages, we generally see that shy happen and then confirmation, right? That also happens on the Fibonacci levels. So if we drew the weekly right here, and then the daily chart shows us from right here, 224, it breaks out to the downside, breaks down. And then dink, first tag of the weekly, 590.97. We know the price action coming into 225, right? And it opened here and made it as low as that 1618. That would have been a buy zone. And what's the extra confirmation is the big green level, which is the 100 EMA. So that one weekly level, if you were extremely patient, right, to start the week, because again, it was right here, 220 starts, took about 3-4 days to get to that 1618, but we bounced it, right? And for our rules, we go to the 1618, and generally speaking, if we get speed to keep through, sure, 2618. But we see more often than not that we will bounce back from the 1618 to the 100 fib. And we see that here in the weekly, in the daily chart. So the weekly lost its lower, hit the 1618, back tested confirmation of weakness, continued through. Because we did also first tag that 100 EMA, which we were very adamant on because we haven't seen that for a while, right? First tag in sequence. Not that we haven't tagged it way back here, but that was months ago, man. We don't count that. So as we bounced off that 100 and started rolling back down, we tagged it again, but this time, You got stuck under that fib and had a break of. So we knew continuation was probable to the 200s this time, and continuation to the 2618 was again probable. And if you're looking at here, like 3, 4, again, the weekly, we're just going to stick to this right now, 2618, that was the first interaction point, right? So we opened up here, and then if you go back to like 3, 4, go to, let's say, an intraday chart. So we can get back there on the 15. So 3, 4 should be right here. So 2618 is a little farther away, but look at the interaction points that we had at that 2618. The first time, let's go to a little faster. The first area that we hit of 3, 4 candle, we kind of just washed that through. And that's, generally speaking, weekly to when you start getting out here to panic times, you're going to get news, hype, fear, greed, and algos that do trend that. But it's very important to realize that the area of the 2618, that weekly, not because it just didn't have the perfect interaction first tag here, doesn't matter to us. The SPY broke it a little bit, but the second it recovered it, that would have been the trade here. Because a lot of the time, first tag, this might not have been the greatest work trade, right? Sometimes we look at this and it comes down and breaks through and kind of just chops here. Was there a scalp? Yeah. I know for sure we probably took this one, but what we happen to see on the 5, when we open here and it breaks through, I start buying into that 2618 all the way through it, expecting the next candle to give me a bounce back up. So we average in here, and that first tag would have gave us a scalp, 40 some points NQ, 10 points ish SPY, probably a little bit different on the QQQ if we did it. Doesn't really matter though. So the defense of the 2618 is what we kind of take away from that, right? Because it becomes an over-under level as we get into the intraday, because it's a very strong point of interest. Now, we did get some other stuff with, tariffs and news, because that's number one, hype, fear, and greed, right? With the psychology of the tariffs and the 25% starting. So we did get a lot of indecision here during something else that happened outside the Fibonacci. And that something else is the 200 moving average collectively. Okay, because we're looking at that first tag back here on 3, 4 going, well, why didn't it have a really nice interaction back here like the 1618? It had a beautiful bottom and it caught it all day and ran back. Well, we have to remember that outside psychology affects TA. Anybody can learn TA. Technical analysis can be done by monkeys, right? But how to utilize the TA next to hype, fear, and greed psychological catalyst, that's the biggest thing you need to take away. So from moving average shine, this is why we use these a lot. We had 2 days worth and the 25% tariffs and all the other stuff going with Canada and Mexico and the Trumpster, right? So we got that shy. So that's why that 2618 didn't end up being extremely perfectly viable like it did before, when we were more in a technical role than, hey, we got a whole bunch of first tag interesting shies going on. This wasn't like a perfect needed tag of the 100 like this one was. It was more of our second follow through, but first tag in the month. So as we kind of came into this 100 EMA 1618, it was a much better setup psychologically in news than we are down here. And then number 2 takeaway from that, notice how far we are. So from all-time high all the way down here, we're getting super close to support. So you're going to have people, institutions, and funds all coming into this 200 going, well, it's a good area, right? The big boys and big fish, we're not really utilizing going, we don't have a reason to day trade like us. We're scalping it in 5-10 minutes. They're worried about the next month, next quarter. So if they're selling puts here, just getting a little bit of buying, getting some exposure, we're going to start seeing that near a first tag algo that we need. And an algorithm is any price action that meets like first tag and magnets. So as that came down to the 200s, we just had a couple days that didn't work, right? So that Fibonacci point led us to believe that we were still going to get the 200s because of the shy. So 3, 4, and 3, 5. Right? We went over with shying. And I'm like, okay, well, if it shies the 200, we've seen that a bunch, no problem. All we have to do is watch for the push to the lower high and then continue back to the 200 EMA, which it will most likely tag, right? That was our thesis 5 days in a row on videos. We call it over and over and over. But that whole thesis had one catalyst all the time. It was the golden pocket. So if we were going to result in a bounce shy right here, where these candles had no opportunity, right, of hitting the 200s here, nothing was hit. So when this candle was shied and made, you would make a GP, high-low, and you'd go into the next day. So this is the candle that shied the 200s first. As you can see here on the intraday, there they are. There's the shy. So the next day that became first tag, we needed to use over under the golden pocket. So it wasn't a very easy day because it was inline chop. So when we sensed that, and we're like, okay, well, here's pre-market. We're opening up kind of right in the midst of all these crazy-looking algo wicks, right in the mix of the 2618. And we already shied the 200. We got the Trumpster on. This is not going to be a good trade day. And we could viably figure that out by watching where it's going to open in the golden pocket from the prior day. So again, we took that high-low here, and then this high-low golden pocket for here, right? The high-low of 3-4 becomes 3-5's golden pocket, no tag, first tag, which means the action that made this is all brand new. So as you see here in the intraday, we got a lot of just not feel good candles. We chopped through a lot of this stuff, and that's what the market gives us sometimes is chop. Came down to those 200s, almost to yesterday's low, made a higher low and ran away again. Okay, that's a chop day. That's not something that's easily navigatable, okay? We just got to move on to the next day. Now, the next day after 3.5, obviously going to be 3.6, and finally the tag of the first set of 200s. How do we set that up? Well, 3.5 daily. And now it becomes interesting. We have a daily GP and now the weekly 2618, which we had initially drawn. And this is a little pocket, okay? So I'm going to use this pocket that we made of the 2618 weekly and the daily no tag to trade 3.6. 3.5 is the fib setup. High, low daily. Weekly we've had on for the 2618, and we are planning for the trade here at 3.6. Notice how great this zone worked with first tag metrics. It came up from here, and we said this is our daily plan like always. This is the thing we're going to implement live trading, and we said as long as we're above the 100, we're going to look for the breakup and clear house to the GP. And I remember trading this day. We hit a long right here, broke out, snapped to the GP. Great. Chopped into the GP, went back down. The second it lost that overlap zone, though, right? The golden pocket and the 2618, devastating lower low, and finally hit the 200 SMA. And then it went to trick everybody, right? Because we didn't hit the 200 EMA, we shied the EMA for Thursday, which brings us into Friday. And then we continually do the same thing. So we take yesterday's high low for Thursday, like we just did in the beginning of the video. Extend that over. And now, boom, you finally get the 200 EMA. And how we got there, we shied it right here. We said, watch that over under 200 push back up, hit its GP. And I said, careful on this force up, guys. We're going to short the crap out of it. And that's where I picked the, GP reversal and blah, blah, blah. Finally hit the 200 EMA, snuck back over the 200 EMA and snapped up. And all those levels, all this creation is day by day, high-low Fibonacci utilizing the golden pocket, right? So it's just really, really, really clean setup day by day. It's basic support resistance, essentially, because Fibonacci is a level. You're just watching the Fibonacci targets. So what does all this mean? How do we go for the bounce point and how we move forward with what other candles matter? So I'm going to delete the weekly just for now, and I want you guys to keep overlapping those, right? And we're going to look at the daily section as we slowly move down in time frames. You started the oscillation, we did the weekly, and this is how we got all these trade plans for every day. It's crazy. The MACD was telling us that extreme weakness was coming. RSI was in the bottom of the channel on the daily. And on the weekly, we were still just kind of lower highing like we just seen, right? The MACD and the oscillation. The daily was telling a little bit different story, obviously a little faster because it's a quicker time frame. So when we come into this wash, what do we have for confirmational backtest? Because every single day we use a fib, it just continued under the golden pocket. We were ready for it. But now, how do we plan this bounce? Because we straight lined right to the 200s. And, well, how do we actually navigate this super wide MACD to where something could pop to lower high and then continue? Well, that's what we've been putting out for the videos for 5 days straight now, is potential pops from the 200 tags. You needed both. We finally got both on Friday. We've been waiting for them. And then now we look to backtest confirmation. So what are the most likely candles going to be to backtest here, right? What are the most probable? And if you watched our last video, how to draw these candles, the ones that cross the moving averages and have interaction points that are very large and multiple are the most used, right? So this big guy right here almost touched that 50, same as this guy, 100 EMA interaction point, right? But this candle, right, Jesus, this candle sticks out past this candle. Why? Well, if we drew a fib here, we'd already have multiple daily hits. We know that these levels are going to be done. But something unique in our little system indicator here, the golden pocket and high-low, we don't have a GP tag, which means the daily Fibonacci right here and all of its extensions are going to be high priority. Now let's go set this to gold and look at another small example of how we picked the bounces over under from the 3-3. We were very adamant on the 3-3 candle for directions. Now look at this. 3-3 high-low, right? Came down, shied the 200, shied. Those are those chop days. These are not easy to navigate. The Fibonacci, even here, didn't perfectly help you out, right? A daily first tag of the 1618 was already done. Back up here a little bit. A daily. By Friday, because of the zero. Okay, I can't get that far back. We'll just go this way. My draw tool. So the 3-3 GP that was still never tagged. All the price action that came back has two different areas we need to backtest for confirmation. The 100 EMA in the green you see here, that's the daily coded into our intraday chart, and the golden pocket from 3-3. Look at the golden pocket from 3-3, 596.6 to 586.55. That's a no tag, right? Because the magnet for the algos wanted to trap as many longs as they could before they did a lower low into the 200s, something that we had suggested to watch for heavily because of this only 200 EMA or SMA, not the EMA. And then finally Friday, SMA and EMA were both clicked in. So we knew not to long any of this stuff until we had an absolute tag. That's confirmation trading. Just because something shied something, yeah, institutions would get in, but if we're day traders working with funded accounts that are a couple $1,000, we can't swing this stuff, you know? So that's a lot of the precursors. So the 1618 finally hit, and this is a big piece of the pie. This is the first time on Friday. Now let's look at this reaction and the algo. This is huge. 3-3's high low pointed down. No 1618, no 1618, no. We have 3 days, but there's also 3 days worth of no GP. What do we do? Well, it's searching for direction from the 580. And this is why I was so adamant on 580, because this is a 3-3, right? GP, no tag, no tag, no tag. And I'm like, all right, guys, it's over under 580 for like the whole week. It was under, it was over. It was under, it was over. You know, if you would have picked the over-unders of just the 580s, you would have did pretty good. And then finally Friday. So we come into the first tag of 569.14. That's 3-3 no tag. This is the first interaction that it's ever seen. Now let's look at intraday, how this scalp played out and why, all right? Look at this blip, 945, right? First tag, right? So the first time we've seen 3-3's high-low candle, the extension of the 1618 fib, this is the first time. So I knew, well, we're under 580 for like the 4th time this week. Let's go for the 1618, right? Okay, and what helped us that day? If you missed our recap, we'll discover it real fast in 2 seconds here. So I want to get to the prediction now. We had this guy, and I told everybody not to short anything out of the gate. You're going to get your ass kicked, and you got to come to the GP of the jobs data ADP report. So we did another one. Look at the last video we pushed out for the recap. Pushed up, we called the short here. To anything under GP, we made a zone. It says going down to the 200 EMA. Look at the counter trend. Look at the perfect counter trend. It actually shied the one, but the first tag of 3-3 daily in the gold, look at that sucker. It broke right there and boom, target, boom. You had a scalp that was gnarly off this first tag, all the way back to VWAP, which is our favorite indicator next to the 100. That's 33 freaking points. That's huge for SPY because the VIX is high, okay? And now look for these algos, right? And algos are anything with high range, right? Data caused an algorithmic quality candle. That's why the fibs work. This little fat finger dude right here, 1250 Central, these are just intraday weird algos. It comes from tweets. It comes from fat fingers. It comes from computer routing. We don't actually know. I've been up to the tippy top of ThinkorSwim to all of their stuff. And I was like, hey, can you explain these? And they're like, no. So I don't know if they just wouldn't tell me or, you know, I went up to different texts, went to the forums, asked everywhere, not a single person, you know, everybody has an idea. Oh, the black orders. Okay, well, one Google can tell you these aren't dark art orders because that's not how they work. And then as we see, you know, these algorithmic quality candles, we got to pay attention. We got to. So notice like this big tail has also no GPs, right? So if I fib this high-low, our indicator right here is saying that the whole golden pocket is still open on this intraday. But more interestingly enough, look where this random computer algo that nobody can explain ran back into. The EMA and the 1618 very nicely too. This isn't tradable. It's not like an order fill. It's not like if you had a long down here, it would have grabbed you, trying to create liquidity here and grab a bunch of people. That's not how these work. These aren't fill candles. These might be some, you know, big orders, but if we're seeing it, it's not there. Like we can tell if it is or not. And this was not. So as it comes down, we had a couple different instances for that 1618 pushing back up. Now, what happens generally when we see the 1618? What do we just cover in the weekly and the daily? You could use a 23% to stop loss, yeah. I don't mind that. Welcome, guys. What's up? Oh, thanks, Within. Look above and fall again. Well, we'll see. I'm going to go over a prediction here in 2 seconds and give away the account. I just want to see if you guys are paying attention after the 1618. Appreciate it, buddy. It's a little bit of a learning curve, I agree. Fat Expo is the easiest money ever made. Nice. Love to hear it. No GP candle, yep. Cycle breakdown to 100, yep. So what Semper is saying is after we get a first 1618, what we just said is we have a probability, right? right? No, there's no guarantee. We are statistic traders. We're confirmation. But if we stay over that 569, and of course we have a couple algos to deal with, and we could get another chop by the 200. I'm going to go over this in a second. But statistically, in a regular Fibonacci outcome, we have a chance to go back to the 580. And now we are dealing with what? Let's get into the prediction, okay? How in the world can we figure out what's going to go happen now? Well, we don't. Nobody can tell the future, not even me. Sometimes we get lucky. We just go off probability, and that's just, you know, there's no such thing as a crystal ball. We're just using statistical advantage. That's it. This long blip candle doesn't seem to appear on any other platform. Also correct. That is another huge piece of the pie. Thank you for mentioning that. And I'll go off on a tiny tangent right here. Serge is just saying here, so the data, the enriched data, I'll call it enriched because it's valuable, from ThinkorSwim is completely different than CME exchanges that you'll get from, let's say, TradingView, NinjaTrader, anything like that. TOS is the oldest thing on the planet. We call it the old dinosaur, right? And this thing has been around forever. How, why, the way it's programmed, hopefully they never update this thing because it keeps these algo candles rolling. But these are very unique to ThinkorSwim. If you see these in the intraday where you get those leaky tails, as well as pre-market after hours, some can be explained. I can tell you right away, ER, you know, NVIDIA happens or Apple, but the intraday ones like this, you're not going to see these on other platforms. And you better be very aware of where they kind of lie, especially if they're huge pre-market ones. And pre-market, I think we had one not too long ago. Let's go back just a hair. I don't remember every day they had some algos. We might now. We had a small one here, right? There's that 5-minute one that was doubled up. Might have been Thursday. Yeah, this one. So this was an algo blip at 3 a.m. And what we know about 3 a.m. Central is this little candle. Look how unique this candle is. Other platforms don't have this. We checked it. It's on QQQ and SPY 3 a.m. Okay. This is when the stocks actually start trading, not just the futures and ETFs. 3 a.m. Stocks start. Okay. So very interestingly enough, that programmed candle or whatever it is, because we don't know, just has computer algorithmic qualities attached to it. It's very interesting. Okay. So just mind your P's and Q's here, noticing ThinkorSwim. This is the only platform that does that. Do not follow these on TradingView. TradingView can't even do a moving average, right? Much less a, price action. So just be very mindful of that. I'm going to make a little video on that too, I think, once we get a lot of other stuff doing. Is it always probability? I mean, you know, confirmation increases probability. There's lots of different things besides probability, but advantages in statistics we like. Hope the bottom is in. Well, we're going to go over that right now. That wicked into. Oh, that's cool. That's really, so 12:30 p.m. So we're going to do 11:30 for me. So that's this one. No GP. Right here. Right here. No GP wicked into. Yep. So a lot of the time, a lot of my members know too to watch these no GP candles and notice how this one doesn't have one because that wick, it counted it, right? Because it's just price action on the screen. So the indicator doesn't even know the difference between pre-market. But what they're commenting on right here is this little 5-minute no GP. Look where that wick came into. Perfect to the GP. So every candle, fib high low, has GP quality. That's how we trade intraday, daily, weekly. It all works because Fibonacci always works. It's not if it's going to work, it's when it's going to work. So you draw your fib and be patient until it hits that level. That's why the new system I'm implementing the start of Monday is going to be. It's going to literally be a micro trigger. We're going to see how consistent we can do with only 2 trade styles, first egg and fibbies. That's it. Like literally nothing else. But that is correct. Go wishing another figure. I noticed ThinkorSwim data is slower than, let's say, Topstep. I'll see instances of that where you might get a few second delay. I haven't seen a whole bunch. You got to remember also like Topstep X and funded account programs. They're funneling the data. TOS is right. Sometimes TOS will slow down. Sometimes Topstep X will slow down. They're getting exchange rate. It's how fast their servers can produce the exchange data. It's unfortunately you're not going to find anything that's going to be perfect across the board. It's lag in servers, location, node locations. But yes, it will create kind of a rubber band effect where maybe you might see a candle blip faster on TOS than you do on Topstep X. That's another reason why, again, I don't use TradingView for any kind of real data of any kind. Just ThinkorSwim. Yeah, Rob. You found an edge with those L candles? Correct. What's a GP? That's the, if you watch literally any single one of our FIB videos on live, it teaches you everything about these, especially the last video. So go back to our live video on how to actually use these FIBs. But the golden pocket, if you go to the high-low of any candle, weekly, daily, like this right here, the golden pocket is the 61.8 Fibonacci to the 38.20. So when you draw a Fibonacci retracement point, you pick 100 and you pick a 0. We call this the golden pocket, the 61.8 to 38.20. That's where all the interaction algos happen. So check out some of the lives and all the videos that we have here. And there's a metric ton of 400 plus on YouTube. They're not very long, and some of the lives will really help you break down what candle to use, why they're important, which is the last 2 videos I highly suggest watching on the lives. That will break you down very quick. Appreciate you. Look at them. All right, guys, what's going to happen next? Let's get this prediction going and give away some accounts if my scroll wheel stops being crazy. All right, so we have the straight line down. Now what? We finally hit the 200s. Can capitulation happen, and what's the further prediction? We're going to go over this fast. We actually covered a piece of this in a different video, so I'm not going to cover as fast. We covered this in a sentiment recession quality video. So what I'm going to show you here is a couple of very dangerous things on the SPY. Weekly gaps. We're going to start at the weekly again for this prediction. Weekly gaps. We have an indicator that shows weekly gaps. Okay. Now you can mark this video for when you see a recession quality coming from here to 2026. And you'll be like, damn, how did he know? How did we have the statistical edge? Trust me, this will blow your mind. Weekly gaps do not generally stay open. There's like a 1% or less chance. I have not found anything besides, we'll say, some outside interesting algos that I can explain. So we're not going to go to that one here, but weekly always comes back for the gap. So when you see this, red gap is on the way down, green gap on the way up. Very simple. That's the indicator, right? And what we're seeing here is every gap that was ever made, even back in the COVID, we had a weekly gap it returned to, right? Every one of these gaps fill. Red gap all the way down. Oh, it's the end of the world. Remember 2021? Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. And then we called the bottom of 23, and then it ran forever because it gathered 100 EMA support on a weekly time frame, and we had this weekly gap that we knew we were going to come back to. Well, I got bad news for you, friends. We got one open right here, and this is most likely a high probability chance, very high for 2026. Or before, we don't know. We can't predict that far in the future. We're not just going to pick the month and pick the day and pick the exact year. This is going to come back at this time. That's not how trading works. You know this, I know this, but we can have idealistic range. So we got to zoom in real close. What is a gap? Well, obviously, when the candle of the wicks here, or bodies, or I guess, or for whatever it was created, it's got no background color, okay, or no wick color. So that's a solid gap right there in the weekly. So what we're going to do is we're going to chart off this weekly, and we're going to predict what happens with it. 482.72, okay? Now look at the last weekly gap that we had interaction with. Here's our unfilled, okay? Pay attention. Here's the uptrend weekly coming back. All-time high, whomp, boop, right to the gap. Gaps are one of my favorite algorithmic quality trading. This is how we predicted the NVIDIA downside. If you were paying attention to the triple gap NQ setup, and on the way back down, we said we had a super high % chance from all-time high if we start cooking under the 10 and the 50 to come back to the triple gap. This was on Qs. SPY's a little different, but gap 1, daily, gap 2, right? Gap 3, very close, 1, right? Huge, and then we filled those, right? We came back down on SPY, but QQQ, as I keep saying, this was the predictive one for QQQ. We knew QQQ was coming back down because of the triple gap. Gaps are the most important. I have tons of videos on gaps. Search it on the channel. Here's the triple gap. So what we did is we predicted from this triple gap here to here. We said NVIDIA dump will bring QQQ to 500 to 492.97 if that's the catalyst for the downside. There you go. Okay, so under that 10, NVIDIA started dragging us down. Whammo. Look at that first tag metric right there on 3-4. If we would have been paying attention to that gap fill, 3-4, baby. Again, hype, fear, greed, high VIX means slip. Actually, let me cover that real quick for 2 seconds. It's a good idea. High VIX means slip, okay? So when you see SPY often have way better support resistance quality than QQQ. So if you draw a level and QQQ slips past that level a little bit, then recovers that level, where SPY will come down to that level, kind of hit it and go. It's because QQQ is more volatile because there's only 100 stocks that make it up. SPY is 500. So 500 stocks, way harder to slip through a moving average or price level than 100. Right? Lighter, okay? Lighter versus heavier. When the volatility index is up here in the 20s and chilling, you have to treat SPY like QQQ, because QQQ and SPY will not have the same interaction points when the VIX is that high. So we know QQQ loves to do what? Here's the shy of the gap right here. This is the 3-3 shy. So he opened up again inside the gap, and blammo. I pre-market shorted this one actually from that. So the QQQ is coming down here. It slipped past the gap, and then look at the second it recovered that triple gap at 492.97. That was our short target for the NVIDIA. Huge scoop back up. Okay. And then we had that chop consolidation into that gap, the fibs, the Trumpster, everything else we had to cover. I just want to tell you guys though, VIX, when VIX is high, slips are also high. And slips are when price action cruises past a level, right? And usually SPY does not do this. SPY is the way better trader, but it's the way smaller trader, right? 40 to 1 on QQQ, 10 to 1 on SPY for the futures. 1 point moving on SPY is 10 points on ES futures. 1 point moving on QQQ equals 40 points moving on NQ or MNQ. So when you see SPY kind of come into the 200 EMA's first tag, you're like, oh, look at this little moving average tag. Beautiful. Not a lot of slip, but the VIX is high. Not a lot, but it's there. A little bit of slip. And then when you see something like QQQ run into a moving average, like here's another little tiny split, little baby slip, came back. And then if you look at the personality trait between QQQ and SPY, especially when the VIX is high, look at the slip here the first time it came into the 200s, right? The wick nonsense, and then slip, and then finally recovered. The price action slipped past both the 200 SMA and EMA, okay? When the VIX is high, so is slip. Holy frick. All right, back to the prediction. I want to cover that real fast. Here's what's going to happen next. We're going to watch the confirmation candles off the 200 highest range. We have a huge bounce candle here, so let's predict it. This is what's going to happen. Here's the candle that we have both tags on. SMA, EMA, 200s in the fuchsia color down here. This is the candle. This is Friday's candle. Fib high low, like always, right? We'll do this on the futures real quick too. Here is our golden fib. If capitulation wants to continue, and this does not have to bounce because the law of, first tags should bounce, but doesn't have to. Market can always do what it wants. Please don't just assume that the market's just, a one-trick pony. It has so many moving metrics. I'm sure some of you guys have been here for quite a while. You've been screwed over a couple times by, it always does that. Yeah, until it doesn't. So this one right here is the most interesting candle. Why? Well, we have both moving averages. And if you watch our last live video, we teach you why these candles are important. It has two moving average tags here. So if we hold above the golden pocket, which is that 50, or even the 100, because you're gonna either see a little bit of a chop here, you're gonna come back down, and you're gonna see some of those supports being tested for confirmation, because there's a lot of fear. We have record high puts, we have record high hedge funds, we have record fear. That's when you want to start watching for those buys. And what better time to buy off the actual 200 moving average tag we said was coming, where all the other influencers over here on like 3-2 are like, the daily moving average was tagged. We're going to buy. No, it wasn't. We had 3 days worth of lower lows. Like, get real. Use TOS, not other platforms. So from the golden pocket, we have very big targets. The earliest target, we stay above the 200s, above the GP. We go from this to the 10 SMA daily, or 1618, or both, wherever this calculates to. So this would be your green. And this is if we open up in line, okay? Which means the futures are going to go. We'll go over the futures here in a second. But the SPY, if that opens up here, right? Pre-market isn't counted. This is only live trading. Holds, goes. 1618 is going to be that target along with the 10 SMA daily. Why is that the target? Confirmational backtest. Look back here where there's a 221 candle with no golden pocket. So again, the golden pocket is if I take a Fibonacci retracement, I start high-low. The pocket of 3820 retracement to 61.8 is the golden pocket. Notice that this does not have one because the next day after 221 hit, right, there is no tag in the center of the golden pocket, which means algos will drag this sucker all the way back up. That would be a cool what? Lower high, right? And we'll see if we get it. We'll see. But that's why the confirmation. Now look at these Fibonacci points of this no GP. Why is this candle, again, why would these fibs be something to use as an overlap? So what we're going to do is we're going to start overlapping fibs now. See where the key points of interest are. We don't have any good ones right here. No key overlaps in my opinion here. So we can forget this one for now because we would need like the 2618 and the 1618 to be in the same place. 2618 of the white, 1618 gold this time. Same thing. Or even like the 2618 in line perfectly with the 100 here. There's this not overlap, so we keep picking. What about this guy here? Well, here's another no GP. And again, he has interaction with the 100 EMA and damn near the 50, and he shied the 10. Okay, now we're getting a little better here. I like that, where the top of this candle fill could become a push. But of course, remember, the back test of the confirmation 10 is still your first target. So the breakthrough back here, I'm getting ahead of myself here. The breakthrough of the moving average all the way down to the 200s. The first pop magnet target is still going to be that 10 SMA right here, okay, daily, because of this breakthrough right here. It never came back for confirmation of weakness. All it did was what? Shy, okay? And I'm going to cover that in the last part of the video here, right before we give away the count. Shine the 10 SMA. It broke it here, bounced the 100 area, and did what? Did not tag. No tags. Tagged the 50 in the red. did not tag the blue 10, ran away further, hit the 200s. Now it's a great time to bounce up to hit that 10. So scenario one is we open in line with here, SPY, golden pocket, run to the 1618. The breakout zone is obviously going to be 577.41 for you on this trade. This is the squeeze. This is the momentum. Has to break out of the 200 SMA tag candle we just created in the gold fibs to run it to 584.70. If we open high, that is not going to be a squeeze point. And if the market futures run this up, and it could do something crazy like gap us up or whatever it wants to do, scenario number two is to find support at the top of the candle and then push a small amount up to the GPs, okay? So what are we looking at here for GPs? Well, we have 3.3. That's the GP right here that we still need to hit. Let's take this so you can see it just in case. This is the golden pocket of 3.3. 3.3 is high-low. That goes from 586.58 to 590.71. That means from the top of this candle, if this holds support, we will push up to this golden pocket and the 10. Just because we have 10 as a target doesn't mean that's the stopping point for the long. That means it's the profit take for the long, okay? It doesn't mean, hey, Brandon says if we're going up here, hit that 10, we're going to go short again. No, that is not a lower high. We are just magnet targeting a long positional scalp. And the magnet is to stay above the 100, the 200 candle here, to break out of that fib, run into 584.70, 1618, damn near the same time it runs into the 10, which means either the support is found on our first candle we drew from here and it runs up to that 1618 and we get a really good trade, or it opens really high in a gap and go, or yesterday's high hold. So Monday's candle, it's going to be all developed off this looking candle here. So if it stays above this 577.41, that's going to be support in the blue here. Again, I'll remove it so you can see it, 577.41. If we open up above yesterday's highs, we're going to still have a target to the 10 SMA daily. And if that's what it looks like here, we're going to come, here's yesterday's highs here, and then here's that 10 SMA in the intraday. So if we open up, and again, we're strong, we're way up here into the 580 again, damn it, let's see, even if we get into 3.3's candle, 580, and go up there, that's going to be massive. 58 points on SPY. VIX is still super high. Just because when the VIX goes down, it doesn't mean that the price actions get any cleaner, okay? If we're sitting in the VIX right now, 26.56 is what we hit, right? And we're still in the 22, 3, 4 range. The range is going to be bonkers. And just a note too, if you didn't notice, the VIX on the daily chart, perfect higher lows in sequence. So still lots of fear there, okay? As confirmation traders, you want to be very aware of that point. So those are the two probability longs. We're either going to hold the top of this candle and have some kind of gnarly gap up into the 10. It could be really bad for us where we open up like way up here. We're going to go over the futures right now to combat that. So as futures traders, we're going to do the same thing on NQ, and I'm going to trade this live tomorrow with you guys. So tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Sunday. We're going to go over it and we're going to do another live stream. Why not? So as we come into the futures, we're just going to do NQ on this one because we got a pretty baller candle here. As the same scenario, here's the break of the 10. I'm going to speed up a little bit here. We've already been over this. 10 SMA break, no tags, no tags, no tags. Finally hit the 200s, minimal interactions. Futures, again, I'm not too worried about it unless it's after hours. I don't care about the futures charts. If the SPY and QQQ are open, these do not matter. They always slip. They never have interaction points that I like. No worried about the futures chart. So again, here's what we're going to see here on the futures overnight. 5 p.m. comes. It's Sunday. 20,286.25. We're either going to hold the top of this, push off into the 10. That's trade number one. I don't care about a single other thing. It's the only trade I want to make because the VIX is so high. This is so dangerous. It's the only trade I want to make to start the week. Above 20,286.25 to the 10 SMA right now, you're looking at 466 points. Bonkers. If we open up on the futures, this daily doji body is going to be extremely important. Not if we open up, when we open up in the futures. This doji body will be important. So this is the whole trade plan for the futies right here. Here's your doji body. Here's your GP. Anything above the GP with conviction and confirmation of the doji body is going to be green. Here's your conviction point here, your confirmation point breakup. If you have any questions, type them in now because we're going to give away a count right after this. Here's the doji right there, the purple channel we did. Obviously the close. Price action holds that and starts to go back up. It's 168, it's going 20,600. Okay. And potentially if that 10 SMA moves down and slowly calculates wherever that wants to come, it's still going to be your first tag metric for backtest. Because remember, we sliced this 10 SMA. We have never touched it on the downtrend yet. So we need to hold what? We got to find a support. What's better than a $20,000 support? That's a pretty major psychological level. We closed above that. Great. So if we stay above that 20,000 golden pocket, along with yesterday's doji body, right? The high body here. We got that open and close damn near right on. Got that high conviction rate of support there. We're going to go up to the 1618 or the 10 SMA daily. Other than that, it's a break at 20K. That's it. There's no other means, because we still have these short targets. We just went over the long for Monday. Not for the whole week, not for none of that. We're gonna go do it day by day. I'm a day trader. We set up for the day. We don't do predictions months and months and months out unless we have a huge catalyst like Nvidia, right? So what's the other scenario? Well, we close past that 200. We could actually crack 20K and keep going down, right? Because we have some no GP dailies down here that really matter. And I do have an algo, unfortunately, in the 18,500s that did not fill yet. So we actually have a target down here, which kind of lines up with a no GP. And this candle is extremely important here on 9/11. We'll go over the short scenario here if we go back down. And this is part of the long scenario, so listen up. We have this one fib on here. Notice once it failed the 423.6, came down to the 2618. This is going to be a really big recovery point for the rest of that long, and why we get to it, because look at that first tag interaction. So Fibonacci, let me back up. Fibonacci likes to walk up and then walk down once completed its cycle. So if you draw a high-low on a daily and it hits the 1618 up, hits the 2618 up, hits the 423.60, that's cycling up. When it snaps that level with conviction, starts hitting you with some really nice confirmation biased indicators, right? Some MACD, mega low here. We're damn near at all-time high in the futures, but the MACD was absolutely not even close. Same with the RSI, super hot at the all-time high, damn near at all-time high, no hot, okay? Oscillation indicators are saying, okay, well, if we do slip past this time, it was saying it a little bit here too, but I don't like that MACD support on the 0 line, so you knew why this wasn't going to work out. 1, it was the 100 EMA support. 2, the RSI had this higher low. And 3, the MACD is 0 line support, which means from the all-time high of price action coming down, notably is the hot MACD coming down to the 0 line. And right here, January 20th, that 0 line was tagged. That's generally temporary support. It's just the same as confirmation trading on moving averages. High on the MACD, all-time high. Look where it came down to. 0 line, okay? We came from positive territory to the neutral purple 0 line, which becomes support. And then you've seen all that support come in at the 100 EMA, but it was temporary. And we knew it was temporary because of the small buy wave and because we're already coming from oversold properties. So what better to trap the longs that aren't paying attention to RSI or oscillation, right? So walking the Fibonacci back down, so it cycled all the way up. Now watch it cycle down. 2618, and wow, the cycle down sure was accurate, wasn't it? Look at the bottom of Friday. These fibs, especially on unique candles, this matters where you draw them. You can't just draw it on any single little candle. We have the video from last week. Watch it. This candle is super unique because of the 100 EMA and the no golden pocket tag, okay? Push, push, right back to the 1618. So if we hold under 20K, let's say we can't bounce to 200s, it goes opposite because we are confirmation traders. Just because we draw something to the upside like this, and we're expecting a potential move to the upside, 10 SMA, which is my first priority, above GP into 10, right? Above 10, back into the 100 for SPY, because SPY needs a back test of the 100 and those GP candles we talked about on the daily. All that's fine and dandy. That's the higher percent probability chance that's going to happen, is if we're over the GP 20K right here of Friday, if we're above that, we have a chance to track down for the first couple days that 10 SMA. If it doesn't want to do that and consistent news hype theory comes out, the 1618 doesn't bounce at 19,760 hold like it did on Friday, the perfect bottom, right? We're cycle down to what? The 100 and then bounce a little bit, then maybe get our bounce because that's just the next fib, right? Because look at what 2618 did on the same 9/11 candle. Lost 423 down to the 2618. But look what happened on the back cycle test of the first downside cycle. This was all upside cycle, and then it broke 21, 7, 23, 24. Now it's downside cycle. Look what happened the first time. Ding. That caused a pretty amazing day. If you were looking at the down cycle of that, ding, 2618, that's a pretty freaking crazy bounce to buy that and then run it up. This whole candle was 438 points, right, from that bounce point. So we're going to treat the 1618 the same way the market did the 2618. So back here again, the cycle down hit, bloop, big. So now we're under it, bloop. Hey, can we get a big one? Well, let's see. It's all confirmation bias, man. That's what we need. So above 20K and above the 1618, you're gonna want to see those bounces back up to the 10. If you don't see it, you're going cracking 20K here, and we're gonna capitulate down to 19,297. This is the second option. I'm not too in love with this option because obviously nothing goes in a straight line. All the way down the 200s, we deserve a bounce to lower high. I don't care where the lower high happens. I just want to be a part of the bounce that comes up and catches hundreds of points from the 200 taggers that are all right here. And again, I'm using QQQ and SPY. I do not care about NQs, moving averages, or anything like that. We only use the fibs when it's open, and we'll cover this tomorrow at 5 p.m. live, okay? Of course, it's 9/11. Yeah, those are my numbers, actually. I see those in rotation my whole life, unfortunately. All right, that's it, guys. That's the prediction. We're gonna play it tomorrow too. So join in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time is for me with market, and I'm gonna play this exact play. I'll show you guys exactly how I play it. We'll play it live. So 5 p.m. tomorrow, we're gonna come in and we're gonna say, okay, we're just gonna leave the same fibs we have. We're gonna use that doji body. We're gonna play above or below, and we're gonna nail it. So 5 p.m. tomorrow. Let's give away Topstep account. Random day picker. Because you guys are supposed to comment on every single video this week to win a chance. So let's go to So I just told the good old chat GTP right here. I said, hey, AI, pick a random day between Monday and Friday. Thursday it is. AI says Thursday, my friends. AI says Thursday. Thursdays. Where do we go here? I'm going to go to my YouTube video and put it in the link here. Where's the date here? There we go. I can't see. I'm half blind if you guys are like, why is he looking at it like this? 2 days ago. Okay, here's the link. We're dropping her. Comment picker. Oh, God, I lost you guys. I don't know where the YouTube chat is. Best influencer ever. Okay, we're back. Where's the live chat? Okay. Jesus. Yeah, we're a little chaotic. I'm an anti-influencer. Add comment, replies. No, filter duplicates. Yes, here it is. Show random name. Sure. Okay, okay. Now we just got to click this. We're going to pick the winner. Wait, how many comments do we have first? 9 plus 6 is 15. Okay. Get YouTube comments. How many did we got? 31. Let's go. Let's go. How about Kev? That's a member of mine. I know that name. Told me I was eating Big Mats once. Told me put the phone down, get back to the gym. The comment was, shy, let's go. Hop back, Kev, man. Hit me up in chat or hit me up in the message. You win, buddy. You win. Cool. Congrats, buddy. Hit me up. I know exactly who that is, so I'm not worried about tracking that man down. He is a part of our premium group, so grats. You got $50 coming. You can use it on Topstep account. You can use it with dinner with your wife. You can use it whatever. Primo. And we're going to give one away. Should we give one away tomorrow, chat? Just cuz, for anybody that tunes in. I'm going to pick a random video for everybody to comment on, so I know how to do it for tomorrow. Should we give one away another tomorrow? Why not? How about we do that? Should we give away another one tomorrow? Another one for anybody who tunes in. Which means, comment on this. He goes, of course. Mason's all about the giveaways. We love it. Awesome. All right. Comment on this video. This video is obviously a live session stream. We're all done. We're going to close this down. It's going to populate on YouTube under my live video section. Just go comment on it. I don't care. Comment whatever you want. Give away an extra one. You'll pay for it today. Today? Like right now? Should we do another one? Like this second, Semper? There's 50 people. Wow, a lot of people left after that giveaway there. Ooh, they're missing out. You want to do one right now? So we got Hot Bod Kev. Should we give away another one? Or we'll do a random comment picker from whatever day. You want to pick the day? All right, pick the day. It's just not Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday here. Do Friday? Monday? Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Let's go. All right, let's give another away. Semper wants to sponsor. If you don't know Semper is a moderator of mine in the premium chat. He has been one of the oldest members we have in BRT and is an amazing human, good father, great trader, and super cool dude. So he's going to sponsor yet another one. You pick. All right, let's just pick Friday. Easy peasy. So he's sponsoring another giveaway right now. One of my admins from Boiler Room Trading. Thank you, Semper. That is awesome. So hit me up. We'll get this taken care of. Whoever wins this one, we're going to go get the channel right now. We're going to take this one because it was Friday's video. It has the least views and the least comments. So that'll be a good one. Oh, it has 31 comments just like the other one does. All right. Another winner. Randomly picking on the Friday. No duplicates. 10 is the mathematical equation. Show the comments. Unique comments, 26. Oh, it says 31. That's probably my replies. That's why. All right. From Friday's video, Semper sponsored. Let's go. Tam. She comments a lot on a lot of the stuff on X and YouTube. So, Tam, if you're watching the stream, hit me up. You can hit me up on X if you're a member of the Discord. I'm not sure if you are, but I do see you comment a lot on the YouTube. Please hit me up on X, or my email is tradegarage30, all spelled out with letters, tradegarage30, and then the number 3 at gmail.com. Okay. So congrats, Tammy. So that's $50 for you. You can use it as a Topstep. You can use it funded. You can take your friends and family or anything out to dinner. Do whatever you want. Buy your dog some toys. Thank you, Semper, for sponsoring another giveaway, my friend. That's awesome. Shout out to Semper there in the chat, man. That's pretty awesome of you. He's not obligated to do that. That was pure kindness from him. So Tammy Tams, hit me up. We got Hotbod Kev. Leave a comment, tag me again. Hit me up on X. Link's always in the description. So congrats. Awesome, Tam. Congrats. Sounds good, Semper. I just got your Discord there. You pick Semper, cool. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it, man. That's awesome, Semper. We have an awesome community here, guys. So the end of live stream here, if you want to join, we have the link in the description. We trade live. We narrate every single day. We have a huge community well, not huge. We have a small community of huge like-minded people, okay? These guys are talented. We have traders that trade all sorts of different systems, great outlooks, news posted, and overall positivity, as you just witnessed here in the chat from Semper. We have some amazing people. So if you want to join with us live, we narrate this stuff every single day. We live trade just like we do on Sundays, just like the live trades on this YouTube. Check them out. I'll show you what we do live here. If you want to come and hang out with the community, please do. Links in the description. So come on in. How do you get the giveaway? All you got to do is comment, my friend. So we gave away 2 accounts. I'm going to give away one more account tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central American time. So if you come in Central Chicago time, so any Central time there, you want to come in, comment on this video. I'm going to close down this live right now. It's going to turn into a regular video. Go to that video, leave any old comment you want on this. Make sure you like, make sure you're subscribed, because this little thing will check if you're subbed or not. So the giveaway will go through. And that's all you got to do, man. So comment on this video. That's it. So we're going to close the live down now. We're going to get to getting on some other videos that I got to, get out. And I will see you guys on Sunday. So if you want another chance to win an account, drop a comment on this live video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. again. Big shout out to Semper. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the weekend. Please be safe. Please be kind. And above all, trade safe. Thanks for tuning in.